So, how's your morning going up till now? It's noontime, and two boys from Brooklyn want to serve you a huge portion of humor for lunch. So, break out the lunch pail, or the sandwich you packed, and let Les and Freddie S. bring you jokes and nostalgia mixed in with important information about medicine, food, dating, or just the stuff you need to help that bagel go down nice and smoothly. And if you have a story about anything you want to share, a bad date, a movie review, or just the strangest thing that happened to you at work, call in and join the fun toll-free at 1-800-889-0267. Right now, sit back and let's start the lunch break. Freddie S. and Les are ready, so here are the boys.
And thank you for coughing on my intro.
Oh, my
Much
goodness, I'm
appreciated,
sorry.
ladies and gentlemen. That would be Liz Goodman, who is coughing at my intro.
That's because there's a little bit of Brooklyn here in Florida today
That's
with
right.
that
It's
58
like a typical
degrees.
New Yorker. They don't have any manners. No manners.
I have a lot of
Sorry,
Jewish people
boys,
here today. And
so sorry.
No manners. But before we get started, this is two boys from Brooklyn and abroad, and you heard her. Yeah, right. You know what that's all about.
That's just what we need to open the show, right?
The hair in her throat, I think, is what's happening.
See how professional we are, right?
Hold on there, big boy. Take it easy. Take it easy. Don't get crazy now. Take it easy.
I have to get crazy. This is what makes the show.
I know. I'm gonna let the animal will be out of the cage in another 30 seconds.
Okay,
But
go.
anyway, I want to
1,000, 2, 1,000,
relax.
3,
Then.
1,000.
There you go. We have a full crew today, as you can tell, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank Amp2.tv for being the sponsor, Health and Wealth Seminars for being the sponsor, the famous Dr. Panozzo,
The man.
who's the man, the what is it, the whisperer?
I call him the pain whisperer.
He's a pain, all right. Okay. Doc, I didn't mean anything by that. And, of course, I want to say good morning to our lovely board op, which we neglected yesterday all day.
That's all right.
Hi, Connecticut.
I said hello to you twice.
Did not.
In person,
Oh, well,
outside
that's-
of the studio.
I mean, if you want to be a star, we could bring you in. I have no problem with that. We could talk.
Did
When
not.
do I
Did
start?
not.
Then who would run the board?
Hold on, take it easy.
I can run the board.
All right, take it easy. And you can watch today's show on amp2.tv. That's AMP2, the number 2.tv, which is really amp square, but everybody kept writing the word square.
Did you have to think about that?
That's right. That's why it's amp2.tv. And you hit the little green button, and on there, voila, we will appear. I'm going to give you some calling numbers. We have some a special guest on today, which we'll get to in a second. But let me say hello. I'm going to say hello first to Liz Goodman. I almost said something wrong.
What were you going to say?
Liz Goodman. I want to say
Well,
hello
I've
to
got
Liz Goodman. Good morning, Liz.
Good morning, boys from Brooklyn.
Because we didn't officially give
Thank
Liz a very
you.
good intro yesterday, because Les was in Planet Les. And then
It's
next,
very hard being in Planet.
And there is a Planet Les I'm beginning to discover, but I love that Planet Les.
You have to love it. This is me, no matter
and,
what.
then next to her is a very good friend of mine that I've known for close to 3 years.
That's
the
all?
famous
told me you know her for 20
Halley
years.
Elise. No, I said she's been
Wrong
in the
person.
business 20 years. But I want to say hello to Halley Elise. We'll get to her in a second. And last but not least, the man, the myth, and the legend in his own mind
Always in my own mind.
is Lester, the
Not the-
maniac with the mic.
Les's boy, don't you understand that?
No,
Aw,
Les
you've never said that one before,
Les
have
is
you,
not
Les?
more,
How
but
can
that's
we
a good
have
try.
a call now from Orlando when we haven't even
What,
started the
what
show?
difference does
That's
it make,
great,
Les?
guys.
What
We've got
with
a
you?
call.
I guess we'll take
Yay,
it.
But
ding,
who
ding,
is it?
ding.
I don't know. It says, oh, Cammie from Orlando. Hi, Cammie.
Cammie, well, you're on the air. How
Hi,
are
Cammie.
She's for me.
Hi, how are you?
Ooh, you sound really happy
you?
today.
How are you, Cammie?
I am good. I'm happy because I'm talking to you guys.
Thank you.
And Cammie, we're happy that you called in. Are you calling in to talk to the world famous Halley Elise?
Yes, absolutely.
Told you.
You know, you didn't even give me a chance to set it up, honey. A little quick on the draw there, a little quick.
I
And-
guess those
and-
promotions we send out every day, people actually read them. That's
Well,
great.
I was going to get to that. But how do you want to handle this? Do you want to go into a reading without being intro? Do you want
Sure, you can do an intro after. How's that?
do an intro after? All right.
Or we could put her on hold for 2 minutes, do your quick introduction.
We could do
and
that, too.
is that
So,
okay,
Cammie, you wanna
Cammie?
hold it on
Okay.
for a
Let's
moment?
put you on hold for a minute so that we can actually introduce our guest today. And I think that would be the better play, don't you
Yeah,
guys?
I do too. You know, Tammy, the problem is that we're a new show. We don't know what we're doing. But obviously, thank you for being a good sport. Just hold
Evidently,
on
never
for
know what we're doing, but that's
Well,
okay.
but it works,
That's what
baby.
makes the
But
show
it,
good.
you know something, it works. I got lots of calls. I got lots of calls from New York and all over the place. It works. That's all right. But anyway, let's introduce Halley Elise, who does shows on the AMP2 TV network, and she's a psychic, empowerment psychic.
you.
Well, I'm going to tell you
I
something.
remember that.
It took me a long time to learn what the word empowerment meant.
He couldn't speak it.
And you wait a second. And you graduated NYU, right?
And
Never said I was proud of that.
before we get to Cammie,
We
I
still-
do
we
have
still
to
doesn't know what
ask
it is.
Hallie a question
Yes.
But wait a minute.
before we get to
We're
Cammie.
making
Wait a minute.
Finish
Let's,
it.
Okay.
We're
let's,
making an introduction to
Oh,
Cammie.
I thought we did that already.
wait,
Sorry.
you got everybody jumping at the
Do me a
bit here.
favor. Hold it.
Can I tell you?
Miss, let the quiet person, nice lady with that pretty face talk. Tell who she is.
There goes. The madman is out of the cage.
Yes, I want this lady to say what she
I
does.
want her to say, why don't you, the easiest way of doing this is for you to tell us, Hallie, who the hell are you?
Fine.
Who the hell are you?
Okay, I am Halley Elise. I am in the top 100 psychics in America. I have been doing this for as long as I could speak, not professionally, because the difference between a novice and a professional, right? Come on.
What is that?
Professional gets paid.
Yes, see, Les knows, exactly.
Come
So
on, guys.
for many years, I was a novice. I became a professional about
great.
30 years ago. So I am in the Boca Raton area. I travel around the states doing keynote speaking. I have a monthly gallery where I introduce people to what I do. And I'm here today to have some fun. How's that?
Okay,
No,
can
hold
I?
on.
Can
No,
I?
you can't. Hold your
You're
water.
killing
Yeah,
me.
hold your water.
The other thing, Hallie, are you going to be taking calls so that we could do some stuff over the air?
We already knew that, right?
I want to ask.
Since we already have a call
Yes, since we already have a
waiting,
call
Time out.
waiting.
Can you
yes,
give out
exactly.
the number so if people
Yes,
want to have?
the number is 800-889. You should be able to get this number because you're...
Hey, please.
800-889-0267. I'm sorry.
889-0267.
I
That's
like
an
to have
800
some
number.
fun.
So if you want,
I
Absolutely.
mean, nothing serious. I just like to have fun.
Absolutely.
if you want to get a reading from Halley Elise, give us a call. And we do have someone on hold.
You
So,
do.
so let's take that.
let's
Okay,
take that
wait,
call.
wait, before we do, because this is all I've been dying to ask you about.
Hold on, Kemi. Eventually
Hold
we'll
on,
get there.
Cammie,
Yeah.
'cause
Don't worry about it.
I
We're going to sign up for another hour.
read that you do something every day called a quickie in the morning, and I want to know what that is.
You told me you did that
It's
every morning.
called
That's
a
why you're
quickie.
late.
I don't
So
do
I don't know about you, but I want to know what a psychic quickie is all about.
What's a
She
quickie?
actually believes that the person she was with is there.
See, you can tell that Liz looked at my website.
Of course I did my
See, that's
homework.
pretty
I did
good.
my
I'm
research.
impressed. Okay, so the quickie really has to do more with the ability as an individual to de-stress very fast. And throughout our day, there's lots of different teachings about how to let go, release, get centered, and all that happy horse pucky. The problem is most of it is you got to find a quiet space, not pay attention to the elephant in the middle of the room, and sometimes that's a little difficult. Is simply to tap into a happy memory or an image that makes you feel really good, and close your eyes for all of 30 seconds and see that image
But
and
what does
feel
it stand for? That's what I
Ah,
love.
well, see, I'm
It
not
has
giving
certain
out.
No,
things
wait,
that
hold
it
it.
No,
stands for.
you have to look
Oh.
on site.
May I stop,
Give us.
may I stop
you.
you two ladies for 1 second? We have a guest. That's all.
Okay,
And I'd
okay.
like that guest to have the
Let's do it.
opportunity to talk
Absolutely.
to you. So let's get on to our
Okay, I
guest.
guess we'll get back to quickies later.
Okay.
Hi, Cammie. I'm sorry. We were talking about quickies and everyone got excited. So please.
No pun intended.
Every pun intended. How are you, honey?
Did she hang up?
Did we lose you?
Cammie?
Cammy.
She left.
I guess we
She'll
snooze,
call-
we
she'll
lose.
call back.
So sorry, Cammie. Call back.
Cammie, 800-889-0267. And I promise you, the minute that I see you on the thing, I'm going to shut everybody up so you can talk to our illustrious lady.
And even if you've called before, don't be afraid to call again if you want to speak with this wonderful psychic sitting next to us. I know there's some listeners out there that really, really get entertained by psychics, believe in them, and want to experience them even on the air.
Well, I believe in
right.
psychics ever since my wife had a reading. So anyone that thinks this is really an art, because I've seen it. I was like everybody else. I said, no way. And this guy that we went to, my wife had a private reading. Now I'm going to bring it to you.
Okay, sounds good
Well,
to
let me
me.
ask you a
Because
question.
he wasn't one about with people, so I'm bringing him right to you.
Hallie, the question that Liz asked for.
Oh, stop.
Hold on.
No, Cammie's back.
Hold on. The question that Liz asked you before.
Yes.
If they want an answer to that, they go to your website.
Absolutely.
What is your website?
HalleyElise.com. That's HalleyElise.com.
And
Okay,
you can
I'm
find
I'm
out
bringing
what
Cammie
quickie
on that
stands
right now.
for.
Here we go. Cammie, I'm so sorry. Cammie?
And There you go.
Hi,
There
I'm
she
so
is.
sorry. Now you can talk to our illustrious lady.
Hi, honey. How are you?
Hi, Halley. How are you?
Good. We're a little off the cuff here today, as you may have noticed.
We don't even wear cuffs.
What can I do for you? Ooh, too
Uh,
loud.
Well, first of all, hi, everybody. Thank you for having me. I have two questions.
Okay.
But, so I'm not sure which direction to go because I'm not sure which subject that I should go towards. One is very personal, more of relationship-wise, and the other one is it's just regarding someone that recently took his own life. That it's it's very two very different matters.
Can you just speak a little bit louder for us, Cami?
Yeah,
mind?
I'm sorry.
Okay,
Did you
let's.
understand anything that I said?
Yes. Let's focus on the personal question first. Let's
Okay.
address that.
I very recently became open to meeting people again after 5 years, and it has. As soon as I open the door, there is a lot of different people coming up.
Right.
And this person that has really stirred up my feelings is actually very different than I expected because he's extremely young, like younger than me.
Yay.
Go, girl.
I don't know,
Cougar.
what do you feel about it? Yeah, cougar action. What do you feel about
You're not
it?
old enough to be a cougar, so get that off the
Okay.
table, number one. Number two, the fact that you opened yourself up to a relationship after all of these years, after doing the best to raise your child and get things settled and organized and getting your business on track, it's time. It is. It's time to go out and play, and you really haven't done that. You've had a couple of, we'll say, dalliances where you put your toe in but didn't really enjoy or really go anywhere. So here's a perfect opportunity to have a great time and to enjoy. And I feel like this person ultimately is going to be, hopefully they're not listening, more into you than you are them.
Well, I was just going to say that. Actually. The guy's listening. He's
If he's listening, I'm in trouble.
So he's going to ask another psychic to talk to him. I know.
It's going to be the battle of the
You know,
sun.
all kidding aside, I have to share something very quickly. I had a woman who came in, or rather, this guy who came to the office who asked about a relationship. Now, I don't know who his connection is. I just focus on the individual. I gave some feedback. Several months later, the girlfriend talks to the woman who works in my office and says, "Oh, I hate that psychic." And she says, "Why? Everybody likes her." Well, she told my boyfriend that I'm not it. And so
Oh,
come to find out that as soon as the two of them got together, the guy's business failed, all sorts of things happened, and prior to meeting her, everything was copacetic. So sometimes you have a connection with somebody on one level, but not on all levels. And this is the feeling with this guy. I feel like his purpose in your life really is to get you back into that joyful state on a personal level. Whereas, with business, you're good. With your kid, you're good. With everything else, you're good. You constantly look at developing yourself, growing yourself, becoming more centered, and you're doing exceptionally well. So allow this into your world and just go moment by moment. Stop thinking so far ahead because it's not necessary with this, okay?
okay.
Okay. So,
I'll go for it.
good. And don't think about the age because honestly, you're a 5-year-old at heart, so I wouldn't really worry about the age.
You had a second question, didn't you,
Yes.
Cami?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And the second one is a little sad about somebody who passed.
Yeah.
What exactly did you want to know here? I mean, because the overall feeling is, as crazy as this sounds, this person was not going to live a lot longer beyond the time that they took their own life, which I know sounds insane because I don't feel that they
I
were
just gotta
old.
chill.
But I get really and truly the sense that they just literally were not long for this world. But I'm sorry, what's the question?
It's just his wife is one of my best friends, and now she's very lost, of course, because he was high school sweethearts. They were married for 30 years or so, and he left 4 kids behind. So, and they're very close and dear to my heart, and she's just so lost, and I don't know, it's basically, it's not really a question, but if you can feel anything that I could tell her, that could make it better. But
Okay. The thing that you want to tell her is literally his time here was not for the long haul. It was not for them to grow old together. And I know that's not going to make her feel better, but you can share with her that while he was here, he genuinely adored her. He was genuinely grateful that they had children. And I get that there was an in-between time that they weren't together, and during that time, he was just thinking of her. And even in the afterlife, he's around her. He peeks in. He checks on them. So, and there's little things that have been going on again in the house that she's going, why is that happening? Like she goes to turn on the light, but it doesn't go on immediately, or she goes to turn it off and it doesn't go off. It's like some sort of weird electrical interference that's taking place in the house right now. That's him around her. He's letting her know that he's still there. He's still watching over them. He still loves them. And as crazy as this may sound, because it's difficult to separate, his leaving had nothing to do with her. It was not that she did anything wrong, and I feel like she really needs to know that.
Yeah.
She did nothing wrong. It really was a matter of he was not supposed to be here for an extended period, and he just, if you will, moved up the date. Okay, honey. I wish I could say
Okay.
something a little more cheerful as far as
No,
that,
no,
but
it's-
really that's all that comes through.
Yeah, it's okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And listen, she's dating.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
That's the main thing.
Right.
Forget about all
If you're
that
dating,
sadness,
baby, you're doing the right thing.
You jump on that horse and you have a good
I got so
time.
depressed that I want to read
Thank
my
you,
wife.
Cammy.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Cammie.
Cammy. Thank you,
Cammy,
Hallie,
that
for
was very
a
nice.
great
Thank
Don't get
reading.
depressed. Think about the young one.
Okay, that's it. Think about
That's
the
right.
young one. Bye, sweetie.
This lady, you're very good. I could just listen to your voice all day. You got the most.
Aw, thank you.
Very
Now,
soothing.
I'm going to tell you a psychic
She's
story if you
very
don't mind. Do you
soothing.
mind?
Okay,
Oh,
sure,
he's
go
gonna- He's
ahead.
gonna tell us a
Okay.
psychic
He's going to
story.
tell us a
Psychic
psychic
story.
story. I love it.
One
Will it
psychic,
be a
One
quickie?
psychic, well, we're going to
She just loves that.
We're going to talk after the show about a quickie.
Okay.
I mean, nothing personal. I just want to know what a quickie is.
Gonna look it up on the
My whole life has
website.
been a quickie. What do you want from me?
So what's
I-
the psychic story?
Okay. I met a psychic who wanted to do some advertising on my radio show many, many, many years ago.
I heard this.
I was
before.
telling Freddie the story. Very, very interesting, and his wife was very interesting. And we came down to the brass tacks of what it's going to cost. So he looked me in the eyes and said, "What is this going to cost me?" I said, "You're the psychic. You tell me."
Aye.
That's the better thing. That's why we see. You see,
I
Connecticut.
thought it was very funny.
Connecticut. That's why
But
we
now-
need the boo sound.
Yes, the good
That's a
thing
boo
about
sound.
psychics is my wife and I never believed in him until my wife went for a reading, and let me tell you, it was the most amazing thing. He said things that was so right on.
Right.
And I have to ask you a question.
Okay.
Do you honestly see what someone's asking you? Does it come to you in a vision? Because
I sense in a myriad of ways. I am clairaudient, I am clairvoyant, clairsentient, etc. But not everybody who's psychic senses in the same way. You know, the old term was ESP, extrasensory perception, and that's really what a psychic is, a person who is receiving and perceiving on an extrasensory level. But there is a distinction between, let's say, a psychic who works with telepathy or works with clairvoyance versus somebody who does mediumship. Mediumship is a buzzword these days. Everybody wants to speak to the dead. I'm sorry, I don't do that.
No, that's
I do it all,
that's
except for
great.
that.
I think that's great.
Connecticut, do you have a
When did
question
you
for
know
our psychic?
that you were a psychic? Were you born with this ability, or did
Yeah,
you just?
Liz and I were talking about that earlier. My mom could tell you stories about when I was 2 when I first started talking.
Wow.
So things would come out of my mouth that I had no knowledge of. They just would come out. For instance,
amazing.
information about my father's
You know how
business.
special she is. At 2, she was talking psychically, and at 2, I was naked on TV with my butt in the air.
Well, there you go.
I mean, what a big diversity between you and I.
But I like the
and-
idea
and-
of no more tears, you see?
And now
Wow.
And now at 30 years of age, the two of you are cheek to cheek, as they say.
Right.
There you
Good
go.
one.
Whoa.
Very
Yeah.
clever,
Very
Fred.
But I got no
Smart.
belt. I got no belt for that. Thank you very
Let me
much.
just say one thing to you. You are totally out of your league. 2 Jewish women and a Jewish guy.
I'm
You
not-
are out of it, baby.
Yeah,
You
but he's
play
from
my-
New York.
Time
Hey,
comes
first of all, let me tell you something. I do what you say. I'm up to now about 2 minutes. I study Buddhism. I'm a Jewish Buddhist. And,
You're a
you know,
2-minute Buddhist?
Oh yeah, I got you a Buddha.
You're a
But I'm not a
Jew-boo.
2-minute Buddhist.
Jew-boo.
It's a Jewish Buddha, not a Juba.
A Jew-boo. It's a Jewish
is a
Buddhist.
religion. Let me
A
explain it to you,
Jew-boo.
and you will agree
Like a
with me.
Jewitch, a Jew-boo. We can
Jew-boo,
put the
Jewish
Jew in front of
Buddhist.
everything, right?
Jewish is a religion. Buddhism is a philosophy.
Correct.
Absolutely.
And I go in every night before I go to bed. I don't. I go into my bathroom because I can make a pitch
And you
black.
Buddha?
No, and I sit there and I meditate.
You Buddha.
Actually, yeah, I don't. I
You
sit.
Buddha.
My Buddha. I
It's
sit there and I
not my
meditate.
Buddha.
But
You
meditation,
Buddha.
but meditation is not just relegated towards
Oh,
Buddhism.
And let me tell you, ever
this
since
is-
I did that, I haven't been on a sleeping pill. I know it sounds ridiculous.
No, it doesn't,
I'm able,
not at all.
I'm able to focus on one thing. So I believe whatever you do, I believe in it because I've seen it at first. And
he's
I was a skeptic, but I believe in it.
Gonna watch you. They put the
And we
the
all
whammy
have
on
our
you.
little Buddha here.
There you
right?
go. I
have
almost
one
put mine
less.
on this morning.
I have one.
There you go.
You know,
So
you know,
does
See?
Freddie.
Show-
we
show
all
your
have our
Buddha.
little Buddha.
I
My
gave it
Buddha's
to you
in.
so you'd be
You know,
a good
the
person.
bottom line here is like people put on crucifixes or Star of David or things like that. Those are all reminders. You know,
Well,
of
it's a
things that
connection
you've
to
learned.
something
That's
that they
right.
want to
And
connect
inner
to.
peace is what I
To
look
believe.
at in Buddhism. And
Absolutely.
that's
That's-
the thing that
But
I
you know,
pull
the
out
Sufi teach the same thing, and the Japanese teach the same
That's
thing,
right.
and
That's right,
you
but the
have
Japanese-
cross-cultural and cross-religions in respect to
That's
ideas, philosophies that go across the board. There's just different names for them.
And you do have a great soothing voice for meditation, and I know you do, which I was asking you about earlier about this psychic school that you do, and you do these meditation tapes. Maybe you want to tell us about how you
Well,
help
she's
other
on the,
psychics.
She's on the 1-800 Call Me Love Line.
Well, besides
that's
the
what I
1-900
talk like
voice
that.
that
You
she
No,
has.
you promised me.
She-
I
1-800
I
voice.
spent $25.
Call me, baby.
1-800 Call Me.
That's it.
I know you're going to.
You
But
do
she's
that well.
naturally like that.
Well, that's
Well, we
because
don't
my
wanna
other
hear-
life.
Order.
Take it easy with the belt.
Now,
You can bring in
Do
my
you know
belts.
you know Brian Weiss, don't you?
I do.
Love his
Brian
books.
Weiss and I were very good friends back in the day. We're still very good friends.
Many lives,
Was this
many
before he
masters.
got
Many
popular?
lives, many masters.
He told me how he wrote the book, and I represented Brian and did seminars from all over actually all over the United States.
Right.
He had a tape that helped you calmed you down. I said,
It helped
Brian,
put you to sleep.
yeah, don't
Without
sell
euthanasia.
those, and you got to put a disclaimer on it that says, "Do not use this when you're driving."
No, I always say
Wow.
that to people. What's funny is I gave my most recent one to my father, and he said, "Oh, I listened to it on the way home." And I said, "You did what? You're not supposed to turn that on in the car." He goes, "Well, Maria was talking to me." I'm like, "No, no, 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 no."
You have that voice like Brian. Brian was very way back, and he
God,
was-
I hope I don't sound like Brian.
I mean,
Yeah, you sound like Brian.
What I mean is you have that
Right,
nice,
Brenda,
nice,
not Brian.
soothing, beautiful voice.
That's because they never
You
ever
know,
seen
Les,
you mad.
my favorite author as a kid, I kid you not, when I was in college, my favorite author was Brian Weiss, Many Lives, Many Masters. And then I read the follow-up book, which name is escaping
yeah,
me
mine
right
too.
now. But I absolutely was mesmerized with the whole life in
phenomenal.
between.
Yes.
And it really changed my perspective as to what comes next. And I love that. And I'm so interested and intrigued that you actually knew him and worked with him. I think that's unbelievable.
Where is he going?
He's
I don't
going
know.
in
I
the
think
corner
he
to
has to sneeze, and he didn't want to sneeze on the air.
I know Brian was calling me.
Brian was actually telling him a little secret in his ear.
You are the
Our
stereo
audience
guy.
didn't see that, but
Did you hear the
very
story how
interesting.
How Brian went from a Mount Sinai psychiatrist doing what he did. You have no the
Yes,
Yeah,
it
the
has
one-
to, it has
Is
to
that
do with his
amazing? The
clients.
two girls.
Sure.
Yeah. It,
wasn't there like a family member was back home telling her there was an emergency back home with
no,
the
there were
son?
these two girls that were twins, and they were talking this language that no one knew what it was. So
Okay.
so they went to see Brian Weiss. They waited like 12
What was the
years to see
language?
him. Huh? No one knew what the language was.
What
It was
is it?
something that went all the way back to years and years and years and years, and that was how life was changed. I mean,
Before their time.
so that's how I started believing in psychic, because this is, like you are, a highly educated woman. He was a highly educated man, and there's got to be somebody that knows what the heck is going on in this world. I think it's you psychics that really know. I mean, this isn't one of
Les, wasn't there a patient who was when he was a psychiatrist, right? And the
About
whole thing
Sinai,
about
yes.
it was that he's a psychiatrist who believes in science, but somebody from the world in between was a patient talking to him while she was under
Yes.
hypnosis.
Yes. And
she had no
And the thing that
recollection.
really, really intrigued him and made him have to stop and think was in the middle of a session, which he was still skeptic about, if I recall correctly, and we're going back 20-something years.
You know,
she
they made a
said
movie
something
about
like,
that. Yeah.
"You need to go home and stop this right now. Your son's in danger," or something like that. And he went home and his son was in danger. And I feel like that was something to do with it. Now, do you get experiences like that?
I think I think it's like women that know when a child is in danger. For some
Well,
reason, women.
okay, so let's clarify something.
Okay.
People think that psychics are, let's say, far and few. Not today, because it seems like on every corner there's a hand. And by the way, I don't work from a place where there's a hand on the street. I'm actually in an
You don't
office.
have a crystal ball? You
I
don't
do have a crystal ball at home. It's sitting on my counter. It's very ornamental.
It's not
Anyway,
like 3.1.
I love it, ornamental.
but in all sincerity, gut feelings, mother's intuition, all these sayings that we've been using for forever, for as long as we can remember, just means that in that moment you're paying attention to your psychic ability. But everybody comes into this world with a level of psychic knowing.
Okay. We're to come back in a minute, Freddie. Or you
Hold on
want
a
to say
second.
something?
Hold on. I just wanted to say they made a movie, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. For them, you know? Just wanted to bring that in there.
Yeah.
All right.
One flew over the cuckoo.
Because you're a little bit cuckoo, Freddie.
We
That's
are
what I
going
love
to
about
take
you.
a break and give our sponsors a chance to thank them for paying for our show. We will be back in about a minute and a half, and then we'll go on to the seminar thing. Thank you so much.
Please welcome a new sponsor to the show. It's AMP2 TV, the first and only internet network that's truly plugged in. When you're looking for a full-service internet television production company, discover AMP2 TV, a full-service production company that can provide all streaming videos in studio or remotely. They offer web page development, and they use all the latest platforms to help make your business selling points more powerful. They can do remotes and live streaming, as well as tape productions. Let AMP2 TV handle all of your television production needs. Choose from a variety of creative TV and radio packages and see why AMP2 TV works with many major companies, including Comcast, Bravo, and Fox 29, as well as individuals and businesses of all types and sizes. To see samples of their work or to find out more, visit their website at amp2.tv. That's AMP, the number 2.tv. Or call them at 1-866-224-5422. That's 866-224-5422.
Have you ever had a business idea that you thought would be a great solution to tough challenges in today's world, but have no idea how to get started? You don't want to waste investment money on ideas that just don't work. Introducing Health and Wealth Seminars, a sophisticated advertising agency with over 40 years in the ad business. What makes Health and Wealth different from other agencies is they fit your product into the public's need. They help put together the strategy of your business before you commit thousands of dollars and just find out those ideas just don't work. Health and Wealth Seminars carry advertising contracts, radio and television contracts, and even a production service contract that will cover all of your business needs. Call today, 954-303-9563, and let Health and Wealth Seminars carry your business to the next level. The number is 954-303-9563. And remember that what happens when you don't advertise is nothing. 954-303-9563 is the number you need to get your business started in the right direction.
You're lunching with two boys from Brooklyn who invite you to advertise on their show. Share your good news. Just call 888-224-5422 and get all the information. There are plenty of options, and this could be a great chance to get the word out about your business or service. That's 888-224-5422. Now let's get back to those two boys from Brooklyn.
Let me go. Okay. Hi. We're not on yet, are we?
Yes, we are.
Oh, hi. I want to thank one of our many sponsors, Dr. Anthony Pinozzo. He's going to be doing a medical seminar Tuesday, February 16th at South County Civic Center, which is 16700 Jog Road, Delray Beach, Florida. Now, if anyone out there suffers from migraines, suffers from vertigo, suffers from TMJ, suffers from knee pain, I guarantee you, and it doesn't matter if I guarantee you, he guarantees that he will take care of your migraine in one visit. I have seen him. I have brought my family, my friends to this man. And let's face it, folks, you don't bring your family and friends to somebody that doesn't work. He guarantees everything, accepts most insurance, and, Freddie and half of iHeartMedia up here has gone to see Dr. Pinozzo.
I can't wait to meet him.
When you meet him, you will be impressed because how many times have you heard a doctor that guarantees that when I take care of you, you'll never come back to me?
I think it's absolutely unbelievable that someone can make that kind of a statement guarantee. And I think, and as Dr. Pinozzo was willing to do it, we can maybe do it live on our show or being taped, however we want to do it.
As long as Freddie Santori brings the cameras.
Or taped.
He can't do it live because you have to be in his studio. We can tape it.
We can tape it so that our viewers and
he
listeners
sees so
can
many new
see how it
patients every
works.
day. I mean, the good and the bad about Dr.
can't
Pinozzo,
wait.
he cures you in one visit. The bad, he's got to keep bringing in patients,
Well,
which
that's
is
it.
why we help.
Right.
So everybody, if you have a pain or you're suffering from something and you want to hear it from the doctor, he will be live and in person Tuesday, February 16th at the South County Civic Center, 167 00 Jug Road. If you want to call the doctor now and talk to him, it's 561-381-5800. Doc, hope you're doing well, and I'll see you Sunday. It's my turn for breakfast.
Well, it's nice
Back to our guest. Oh, you want to talk? Go ahead, please.
Doc, because he listens to the show, and we actually make him smile. And
Yeah, we do. He
Freddie,
laughs.
can
He
you
loves
give
the
out
show.
our number one more time so people can call in
Absolutely.
and
Sure,
speak with our guests?
it's 561-381-5800.
No, that's the
No,
doctor's
no, no,
number.
no,
I'd
no.
like Freddie to give out our
The station
number. So
number.
that people can call and talk to our lovely, beautiful, talented psychic, Halley.
I was going to
Wasn't
do
that
that.
like an 888 thing?
Excuse me, could you tell me what she was before she came here? Was she a megaphone or a microphone? If you'd like to talk to Halley, let me tell you, I am so impressed by it.
Listen.
Oh, we got another caller.
Yes, take it easy. And listen, he gets when a phone call comes on, he doesn't let you finish your sentence.
No, I'll tell you
or
why.
bit or anything
I'll
else.
tell you why.
Because he thinks the person's going to run away. They called in.
Wait, Connie,
Take it
she
easy.
ran away.
Well,
She did not. She
No, she got disconnected.
Okay, anonymous caller from Miami. That's a nice name,
Anonymous
Schwartz.
caller. I
Could be
like
Jewish woman,
anonymous
Anonymous
caller.
Schwartz. Here we go, Anonymous. You're on with Halley.
You're on the air.
Hello.
Thank you. Yes, I wanted to know. Hi, Halley.
Hi, how are you today?
You, thank you, and you.
Very well, thank you.
I wanted to know about love, please.
You wanted to know about love. It's spelled Love. No, I'm just kidding. It's one of those mornings.
Run.
I'm sorry. I'm around a bunch of clowns
You
today,
want to go
so
for quickie?
But you have to
Just
speak a
do
little
that.
louder so that our listeners can hear you, okay?
Okay.
okay. All right. The biggest thing that comes up for me immediately is that you are still holding on to a pre-existing love, somebody who that really, is not good for you, and yet I feel like you still hold them in your heart. And as long as you hold on to that person, you really make it difficult for anybody else to come in and have the type of relationship that you want.
Does that make sense to you, caller?
Yes, absolutely.
So let me make a little suggestion here. On a piece of paper, write down all of the good qualities and characteristics that you really loved about this person. And at the bottom, write down this following sentence, which is, I am now open to receiving all of this and better in someone new.
Oh, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Because if you do this, I'd say if you do it on a regular basis, no more than 3 months, you will have a lovely individual in your life who does make your heart smile. But it's time to release the old. Okay, hon?
Gotta let it go.
Okay.
Oh, wow. That's
And-
Thank you so
Take
much
good
for
care.
calling.
Thank you.
Hallie, I got a question for you.
Yes.
If you ever run into somebody and the person says, I'm in love with this person, and then the other person you could see that is not in love, would you tell the person the truth and say, listen, he's just not into you?
I am very diplomatic, and I try
What
to
do you
be
tell them?
as positive and constructive as
What do you
possible.
tell them?
I will make it clear to them that it's not what
But
they
do you
think.
tell
I
them?
do tell them, but I
You hint at it, but do
no.
you tell
You know what it is, Freddie? It's not a matter of hinting. People hear what they want to hear.
Yes.
So if I say
They
to
receive
someone,
what they want to receive, too.
exactly. So if I say to someone, you know what, this guy really isn't into you, what they're going to say is, oh, you're wrong, and this and that. So instead, I might turn around and say to them, you have certain things about this man that you're really drawn to, but it's not as mutual as you might think. So please take a look at this as you go through the relationship, because most of the time, if you phrase it in a soft way, the person will get it. Whereas if you hit them over the head, they start to rebuke. They say, nope, that's not true. You're wrong. It's going to work. And then, 6 months later, they're hysterical because it didn't work. I would rather have somebody become aware of what's going on.
I think she's great.
Okay, can I put you on the spot for a quick second?
Sure.
Can we play a quick little game here? There's
what sort of
two
game
boys from
do
Brooklyn
we,
and
wait,
abroad.
do we start talking sexy again?
No, we,
I'm ready for my
just
quickie,
can't
Halley.
help it. We have two
I'm here
boys
for
from
I
my
just
Brooklyn
gave
and
it to you. Did you
abroad.
miss it?
Feels really good, Halley.
And a
Thank you.
beautiful psychic in the room. So the game is, you have to tell us something personal but able to be exposed about each one of us, and then we have to be honest as to whether it's true.
I don't want to play that game.
I'm not
I was
playing
gonna
that
say
game
Fred-
either.
I was just
But it
going to say
has to be
Freddie's
able to
not
be
going to be
exposed.
happy. No,
It
Freddie's
can't
not
be
going to be happy
exposed.
about that.
Exposure is limited.
Oh, Connecticut wants to be in that big game. It
Okay.
is a fun game. So, four people,
Go ahead.
four
No,
people,
don't-
just something interesting about us that wouldn't embarrass us, but that we
No.
could not have told you, and we can tell them.
Wait, we got someone. Connecticut wants to say. Go ahead, Connecticut. Ask Halley what you
wanted-
want.
to be
She
in the
wanted
game.
a reading.
I'll be in the whatever.
She'll be in the
She wanted
whatever.
a reading.
Okay, so let's have quiet so Halley can do her stuff.
Okay, go. Sure.
Okay. It's funny, before when you ran in and you were just chit-chatting a little bit, the first thing that came to me is, why are you here? And I don't mean to be facetious, but you're a lot more talented than you give yourself credit for. And you know that. It's funny. I wish everybody could see what you just did.
I told you that.
Talking about Connecticut.
We're about to lose our board. You know, you.
Oh, she's doing the
happy dance.
arms in the air, a little about that.
You know, you are notorious. You are notorious for board ops leaving. So
Well,
cut
that's
it out.
because I'm
Cut
sorry. I
it
give
out.
them
You gotta
accurate
tell the
information.
truth.
I understand that, but
She
not
wants
right
more.
now.
Okay, go ahead.
Kinetic, do you want to answer to that? Do you want to say anything?
I kind of know this.
Okay, the other thing too is travel is really where your heart is. And
Oh, wow.
doing this, I'm going to say, if you wanted to think outside of the box a little bit, you could actually continue to interact on the level that you interact with the public, but do it while traveling. Give some thought, especially with our ability to connect across the world nowadays with live streaming and internet and all that. There is no reason that you can't do what you want, but do it on a greater scale and actually have more fun.
That's the goal.
Okay.
And that's why I I considered this company, iHeart, for the same
It's
reason.
national, right? And
It's
Right.
international, 28 countries.
International, exactly. And you
Excellent.
would fit right into, I'm going to say, the Australian market. You would fit well in the Alps. You would fit well in, wait, there's something else here.
She's
doing the
Alps.
dance, Connecticut, so you
I
must
have
be
family
Guys,
in
be
the Alps.
quiet. She's thinking.
Pardon?
I have family in the Alps.
Okay, because it's like there's a connection there. And as far as your ability to communicate in French, you could go in and out of France. Specifically, though, God, there's a name in France that's popping up. It has to do with the mountains. It has to do with little chalets. And I'm sorry, the name is eluding me, but it feels like it's a remote area.
Lyon?
Thank you. Yes. Okay.
That's
So
great.
there's connection already there. It's just a matter of, as I said, expanding that box of yours a little bit and actually stepping out, because it's in your head. You need to actually put it out there.
Wow,
How
that's
about
But
Les?
that's
Les
why
is
you're in-
next.
No, I'm
That's
not.
why you're in
Babies.
Two Boys from Brooklyn.
Freddie is next.
No, Freddie ain't
Freddie's
playing this
next.
game.
Freddie's like,
The game is she has to
I
give information
no,
to
the
I
answer
already,
everybody in
I've
the
already
room.
done that
I've
to him,
known-
and he
I've
gets
known
scared.
Let me explain one
time.
thing.
We ain't going there.
Let me explain one thing. The name of the show is, what's the name of the show, Freddie?
It's
Two Boys from Brooklyn.
But you can call this show Cinderella Had Puppies. It makes no difference
We
to
ain't
me.
doing it, no.
I done this with her, so let's just move on.
No, I don't want to.
Okay, well then do it for me. I'm okay. I challenge
Notice
you.
how he just turned red.
challenge.
He's backing away from the
Long.
mic. It's kind of funny. Ooh, there's all sorts of things with you. I'm trying to think where to go
I
here.
can tell you that right now.
All right, Peanut Gallery. I want Hallie.
I'm actually going to go to romance for a minute here. You're very guarded, and what's funny about this is you don't want to be guarded. There's this, it's almost like an automatic switch that seems to come on when you get a little too close, when you think that things are going to go in a certain direction. And what's interesting is there's been I'm going to say 3 times within the last 35 years that things could have been a wow, but they would have been short-term wow. And you were like, nope, thank you. But there is that, if you will, distance where that, again, protection is the word that's here, that sits with you. And I just want to say we're in 2016, 17, 18. Before the end of 2018, you're going to be doing the happy dance, whether you want to or not. You're going to be dragged into love in a very big way. And it's like whoever's around you now, I'm sorry to say, doesn't mean anything as far as for 2018. And it's not that they're unimportant. It's that there is a whole shift in what's taking place with you. It's as if there is this romantic epiphany that's taking place.
Wow.
Okay, very interesting.
Now, are we done with this? Because I want to share something.
Okay,
You know, what
go
a lot
for
of
it.
people don't know about Halley is that Halley has the wonderful ability of making electrical equipment go haywire.
Oh, God.
Wow.
Here we go.
So when I met her, the first time I met her, my computer went blank. Now, I had that computer for many years. Never in the...
Maybe you should have bought a new one.
No, and when she walked out of the room, we were in the cafeteria actually, right, Hallie? And she walked away and came back. But she's been in studios. You know, we had I didn't want to say anything, but we had a computer malfunction 10 seconds into the show. It came back. But I said it's because it's Hallie. It's what you do.
You missed it not last week, but the board op on the other show. there was a sound that went off, and I don't know if you caught it or not.
But the
but
sound went off here too?
on break, he says to me, "There is no reason that should have gone off. The settings were exactly
I
the
gotta ask you a
same.
question.
Didn't make
It
sense."
happens.
So it's
I
kind of
got
funny.
to ask her a question.
But
if
I
you
want,
don't
but I
mind.
wanted to bring that up, Les, because
Oh yeah.
all sorts of stuff happens around Halley. And you know this thing about you asking? I'm gonna tell you something. Been there, done that. Just be very careful.
Well, he
what
didn't
you
ask.
Howie, I got to ask you a question.
And he
When-
got scared.
I got to ask you a question.
She makes you
And
nervous,
I'm-
Freddie.
and-
Her? Absolutely.
When my wife's mother died, every time, how do I say this the right way? Every time we were in situations that were important, don't laugh, this is a true story, a little bug would fly around. When Lisa, my daughter, went to Sloan Kettering to get checked out, it was the dead of winter, and that bug flew around my wife. And it seems that every time we're in a circumstance, I went to pay my respects at Levitt Weinstein. That's where we go. And the bug was inside the mausoleum, and it just blew me away. Is that possible? I mean,
course.
what? Who sends it?
It's just showing up to let you know you're not alone in those moments of great despair.
I was going to cry there for a second. I mean,
But that's what it is.
Yeah, it's really.
You know, when my grandmother passed away, and I've shared this with many people, my Nana, she was my heart. And when she passed, I knew she was fine. My mom, though, on the other hand, kept saying, "I need a sign, I need a sign, I need a sign." So after she passed, there was this rose bush in the backyard. I swear it was dead. Okay, it just never bloomed. It had a red rose on it for the first time ever.
Oh my God.
The day after that, there was a bird who just sat on the patio that looked in the house and kept looking in for like an hour. It wouldn't go anywhere. And my mom kept saying, "Isn't that strange? Isn't that strange?" But she kept saying, "I need a sign, I need a sign." I'm thinking, how many signs do you need, Mom? So she goes to work the following day after Shiva was done, and she comes home, and the entire house is permeated with my grandmother's fragrance. And it's a fragrance that my mother never wore, white shoulders. I never wore. And literally from the bottom of the house to the top of the house, from the front to the back. And she's like, "God, I hope Mom's okay." And I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" How many signs do you want?
That's amazing.
When
I
people
mean,
pass,
Let me
they
tell you
don't
the same
leave us.
very quick story about both what
Howie,
you're talking about.
It's amazing. That's
When
why
I
you have
got
to
married-
believe in this.
My grandmother was very important to me as well, and when I got married, I was very upset that she was not here for it, and I believe she comes back as a butterfly. Everybody else in my family says she's a fly. I say a butterfly. I think prettier than a
Right.
fly.
That's right.
And I was in Portugal for my honeymoon, and I was on a mountain, on top of the castle, on top of the roof of the castle, and I kid you not. And I'm walking with my husband at the time, and we are walking along the roof of the castle, and all of a sudden a swarm of butterflies literally surrounds me. We had it on videotape, and I put my arms out, and they landed on my arms, and they walked with me, and people were pointing at me and saying, "Have you ever seen anything like that? These butterflies are following that girl." My husband was like, "That is so bizarre." And I said, "Not to me, because my grandmother wanted me to know that she was with me in
Right.
my wedding."
That's why
And
people
these
have to
butterflies
understand
followed me.
that
It's crazy.
things that they poo-poo is real.
Absolutely.
This lady is real. Look, she's not a sponsor of ours, so we had her on because Fred was telling me how interesting she was, and I had that. There was a thing in the paper that one of the talk show personalities were talking about. This lady always took care of bees and made bees and made honey, and then when she passed away, a mile away, I get to choose when I hear these stories. A mile away, as they were putting her down, a whole swarm of bees came and just
Give me a
circled
chill.
the cast. I mean, people don't believe it. What you do is
Happens
real.
all the
I
time.
think you give people a sense of calmness in their life after going through something. I just think what you do is beautiful.
Thank
I really
you.
do.
You know,
Thank
Halley,
you.
Really do.
it's really funny because all human beings are on wavelengths and planes,
Absolutely.
and everybody has the ability to see.
Yes.
It's the
Yes.
question here is, will they? Can they see? Do they see? Do they have the?
It's a choice. Do they want to raise
It's-
their personal
it's-
frequency? Do they meditate?
exactly.
Do they
So-
pray?
So
Do
everybody
they
in this
walk
room
their path?
has the ability to do what she does. The only thing is
Absolutely.
we don't.
But I think what Howie has is Howie has something that was a gift from
Gift from
God,
God,
that she's
absolutely.
able. I mean, she hit you right in the nail, and you just. And the beauty of this, Connecticut just zoomed in for like 2 seconds and zoomed out. They've never met, and that's what blows me away. Well, I shouldn't, because I believe in it. And when you believe in something, what you do, I think it's admirable what you do. I really
you.
do.
And just to help
Because
plug
to hear
Halley
you,
again,
the way you talk.
She
means
has
a lot.
this psychic, which we talked about earlier. She does two things that I think are very interesting. She does the Young and Dream therapy, which you can talk about if you want, and she has this opportunity with a class or a school program that you do where it's a psychic
Well, it's an apprenticeship
opportunity,
program.
apprentice I can't even say the word.
Apprenticeship.
Apprenticeship program
College
that will
graduates.
help people who even aren't psychic maybe tap into their psychic side.
Exactly.
So how do people contact you or learn more about you, Halley?
They can go on the website, which is HalleyElise.com. That's HalleyElise.com.
Do it one more time. Do it one more time. There's
Sure.
a lot of people in their cars.
Quick, get your recorder out. Stop at the red light. No,
I would. I definitely would.
the web address is HalleyElise.com, HalleyElise.com. And I'll give the phone number too. It's 561-755-2166. As to the Jungian dream therapy, I've been doing that. It's funny, for years prior to actually studying it, I feel that a lot of the things that I've tapped into over the years, I would start doing, and then I'd say, well, why am I doing this? And I'd actually go take a class to learn more about whatever it was that I was doing. When I was 16, my mom said to me, they're giving this class over at Nova about psychic stuff. You want to go check it out? I'm like, absolutely. And I'm sitting in the class, and the teacher is sharing information, and she's saying, oh, this is called clear cognizance, and this is clear audience, and this is, and I'm like, oh, that's what that is. And it's really kind of funny because I was doing things and I had no clue what they were. So
And it hit a nerve.
it definitely hit a nerve. And what I do with the psychic apprenticeship program is I help people tap into what they have already been experiencing and if they want to expand on that. But a lot of times people have a multitude of awarenesses and they just don't realize it. They just need to learn how to get still enough so that they can pay attention. And still for me, again, is not that blocking everything else out. There is a myriad of ways to get still, a myriad of ways to tap in to your own inner awareness.
That's
I love
right.
that. It's
I
great.
Know, I since I met her, I've been tapped. I've been tapped in.
more
I just
ways
asked
than
one question. How many quickies have you gotten since you met Halley?
Endless.
Can you give us a
Endless.
little bit of a teaser as to what Quickie is? Just
No.
like two
No,
things.
No,
to say.
we don't want it. We don't want it. No.
You want it
Wait a
learned?
minute.
You go
If
to
you
the
want to know
website?
what a quickie is, you could call Halley at.
561-755-2166.
That's
Then
right.
you know,
Always
know
keep
what,
them wondering.
Always leave them wondering. Hey, Halley, I'm with my
Why
girlfriend
they're
now.
smarter than I am.
I've only got 7 minutes. Well, how do I get a quickie in?
Get a quickie in for 3 minutes or less.
Oh, that's great. All you Jewish guys out there, remember,
Allie,
3 minutes or less.
stop giving it away. Now you have that Monday, first Monday of every month. You do your thing.
Yes,
Where
I do the
is that
Psychic
located?
Gallery in Boca Raton. It's inside the Greenhouse office building. We
Oh,
have
I know
a
that is.
beautiful atrium downstairs. Literally, the entire floor is covered with plants and fountains. And it's
Doesn't she
just
have a
all the-
radio
and
show
all the
also,
offices,
Freddie?
Yeah, well, you got to go to her website. She has a show on the air. You got to go to her website to get information on that because they don't want us doing that. On
We're not
the
allowed
air.
to do
I
that.
gotcha.
But,
I'll just say that it's on Mondays,
It's on Monday at what time?
6:30 p.m.
So at 6:30 p.m. on Monday,
Eastern.
just flip the dial so we don't lose our license.
you go to her website. All
Yeah,
the
go to her
information's
website,
there,
it'll tell
but-
you everything.
But check out what they do the first Monday of every month because I've spoken to people that have gone to this thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's unbelievable. It's worth every penny of it. And it's a 2-hour deal, doesn't it? Like
It's 2 hours, and honestly, it's a great price.
I paid
Nobody
$300
else
for my wife to have
has
her
cost me as
session.
much.
Do you do
You
hourly
wanna know
sessions?
something?
I do.
It was the best session she's gone to. I mean, losing a mother and father, and this never met my wife.
Right.
That was he picked her out of the audience, and he said, it was a big audience of Woodfield Country Club. They do everything.
Sure.
And he said, I have somebody here whose parents died a couple of years ago that's having distress about her father.
Yeah. He sounds like he was a medium, the
And he
gentleman
went
you're
right, and he
talking
pointed
about.
to you, and Margot stood up, and she said, yeah, how'd you know? And he started bringing out things that only Margot knew.
Right.
And I said to myself, okay, Margot, you're going for a session with this guy. And I sat outside because he
Right.
said, and he told Margot about me, and she said that's exactly how he is.
Quick, run. No, I'm just kidding.
You see, Hallie, you got less tapped in.
I don't care what she says about me. I happen to adore this lady. I met her first, and
She didn't say anything bad about you.
I don't care. She can say what she wants about me. My
Can
feeling
I say
is
anything I want about you?
because
Please dive in there, please.
I would love to jump in, but he hasn't stopped talking for 2
doesn't.
seconds to give me a
It's
chance
like
to
he
talk
can't
just
stop
now.
the
breathing.
reason I'm talking is so I'm not giving you a chance to talk because you don't know how to stop. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
You see what I got to put up with?
You got 2 minutes. Go ahead.
See, we're getting the
thumbs
down
down.
boo from Connecticut. Let me
Connecticut,
just
you got-
remind
you
you,
gotta
there
get the
hadn't been a
boost.
phone call or an email till the broad was brought into the program.
No, the calls came from this lady who had something interesting.
I'm talking about in the last week or so, right, Connecticut? Connecticut's shaking her head. Yes, chime in here anytime, Connecticut.
Connecticut, be nice, because you have family in the
We're going to have a little bit of battle here.
Hold it. You got. She's holding up a sign, so please get something off your chest, not your sweater.
4 minutes. 4 minutes.
That's a warning.
Talking
warning.
about chest, if you'll notice, we are wearing our scarf
Yes,
today
we
because
are.
there's
We're
a little
having
bit
a
of
great time.
Brooklyn
Not me and
here in
Freddie.
South
That's
Florida.
it.
It's a beautiful, beautiful spring, winter's Brooklyn day, and I am
It is.
loving it.
Yeah,
And we were
you
talking
go out-
about
you go
how
out-
great it is
you
we
go
can
out
do this.
dressed like that tonight when it's 30 degrees. I want to see what's going to be.
Listen, we
beautiful.
have
They say
layers.
maybe
We
even
know how to
snow
do this.
in Florida.
Women know how to
Oh,
dress.
in the
Up
70s.
in Jacksonville, they're getting snow.
Well, you know, in the 70s, it actually
snow in
snowed
Florida.
in Hollywood, Florida.
It's a good thing that we don't have the planet's not heating up and getting cold and everything else. But anyway,
You really want to talk about polar shifts right
Nah.
now?
Oh, my goodness.
Because
Then
we
you
could,
can have
we
that.
could do
We're
at least a few hours
we're a
on
bagel
that,
and a
right?
bagel and a what?
A bagel and a schmear.
Bagel and a
schmear.
schmear.
He couldn't understand what a schmear.
He don't know what a
was.
schmear
Okay,
is? Oh.
wait, Les, your favorite question of the day.
Okay.
How do you eat your New York hot dogs?
That's my girl. What
How do
putting
you
on
I'm
get
this
hot
girl
dog?
again.
Well,
I've endeared myself again.
If you eat a hot dog,
Me personally, I don't eat it like the rest of the
What's
New
your-
Yorkers.
No, you just got to
I don't.
answer.
You gotta
How
tell
do you
us.
eat your
Be
New York hot
honest.
dogs?
You tell me mayonnaise right in the studio.
No.
New York hot
honest.
dogs and
Mayonnaise.
pizza.
No,
Two
first let's
two
take the hot
answers.
dog. Go ahead.
Hot dogs, just with mustard.
Hey, all
I'm
right.
easy.
Okay.
I'm easy.
You ready for this one? How do you eat your hot dog, Freddie?
He puts ketchup.
Ketchup.
had it last night.
ketchup,
Yeah,
girl.
you finished the
that last night I had hot dogs in
Dr.
a
Shonda.
I had hot dogs in a
Dr.
bun
Shonda.
with ketchup.
And
You know what else?
how
I'm
do
gonna
you
take
eat
a
your
hot dog and
pizza?
put it in your ear.
With
How do you eat your
garlic.
pizza?
With
No,
garlic.
not the garlic
with
part. What do you
cheese.
do?
How do you eat it?
Do you eat it with a knife and
How's,
fork?
what's your pizza dance?
Well, I was accused of doing that the other night because there were a multitude of toppings and they were spilling over, so I really needed to eat some of it first. But
no,
normally,
not pizza.
normally
Pizza's
you
cheese
fold
and
it in
bread and
half
sauce.
and you shove it in your
That's
face.
That's my
pizza.
New York girl.
Right?
Absolutely.
Garlic and what else?
Gotta have garlic and parmesan. Come
Oregano.
on, a little oregano.
You know, I'm thinking of making a club called the Fold It Over.
I love that. Call it the folded over pizza parlor.
No, we could just do
Put
it.
a
We just
pizza
do
in
a
the
Folded
back
over
of the
pizza
jacket.
parlor. What do
Just
we
do
think
a
of that?
We've got 2 minutes to go, so the
Fold
first
it
thing,
over.
first thing I want to do is I want to, first of all, thank Halley so much for being here.
Thank you.
And
Thank
again,
you.
could
Thanks
give
for
your-
having me.
Could you give your number out? I really enjoyed this, and I hope everyone else did. Please give your number out.
Thank you. Sure, you can reach me at 561-755-2166. That's 561-755-2166.
I love how she says that. It's her voice
It's
is
1-800
so calming.
call me. 1-800
just a
call me,
great-
baby.
she's a
That's this
fabulous
voice.
voice.
You have to distinguish between the two.
And thank you to the boys
Well, I
from
can tell you-
Brooklyn.
She's turning me on, Freddie. I mean, I spent $8 I didn't get a voice like that.
You may die any second.
My
All right,
wife wants
listen.
to know who I'm calling for $8 every day.
You can see the show again on amp2.tv. We have Two Boys from Brooklyn on Facebook now. You can check it
Good.
out there. Right in.
Live
tell us
stream
the
on,
story.
on Facebook.
We're working on that.
Yeah,
And
We're
all
working on
kidding
something else.
aside,
Gotta
thank you to
post
the
it.
boys from Brooklyn, both Les and Freddie, for allowing me to have joined and be part of the show.
Aw,
I do
that's so
appreciate
nice.
it.
And she
It's
did
been
put
fun.
Les first, okay? I
Yeah,
just wanna let you know.
you will.
And again, folks, if you're not doing anything on Tuesday, come see Dr. Pinoza. He's going to talk to you about every pain you could possibly imagine. I got a couple of pains that he can't cure with a needle, but I hope.
TMI, TMI,
See,
TMI.
you were looking for
Again,
more
Halley,
information.
Thank you so much.
Thank
This is
you.
a very enlightening show for a lot of people that don't understand what you do. I understand. And whether anyone out there doesn't believe it, you want to know something? Call Halley, and it's going to turn your way around.
She's going to
because
tap you in, baby.
Yeah.
All right, listen, everybody say goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
And again,
Bye.
Halley, thank you.
Thank
Liz,
you.
thank you for joining us. Connecticut, as always. And
Bye,
Freddie,
Connecticut.
I'm glad you were playing with your phone all day. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great day.
All right,
Good job.
Well, that's about it for today's lunch break with Two Boys from Brooklyn. You're invited to join the break every day, Monday through Friday at 12 noon. So, if you missed some of the good stuff they served up today, there's more coming next time. Bring your lunch and the boys from Brooklyn will bring the smiles. And it's all live. See you next time. Now go and enjoy the rest of your day.